Page 52 of Blue Jacket. Carrying on. John Sugden. John Sugden's Blue Jacket, warrior of the Shawnee. It was apparently in 1777 that Blue Jacket established his new town near the headwaters of the Mad River at the site of the present Bellefontaine. In Logan County, Ohio, a black woman, Rachel Reno, later claimed to have been born at Blue Jacket's village about 1780. Close by, other Shawnee militants were erecting fresh towns eastward on the upper Mad, Wakatomeka, and strung along the stream below it, Mackachak, a Makoche town, Mackachak, Wapakoneta, Wakatomeka, the upper Mad, Rachel Reno, Mad River, Bellefontaine, Logan County, Picoee, Kispoko towns, Wapakoneta. So Blue Jacket, warrior of the Shawnee, is erecting his own town. You got Blue Jacket's town. You also have Wakatomeka, Wapakoneta, Picoee, Kispoko, Mackachak. The greatest of these towns, however, was Chillicothe. Chillicothe, situated on the Little Miami south of Picoee. And it was from here that Blackfish, the war chief of the Chillicothe Division, led the first important Shawnee raids into Kentucky in 1777. If Blue Jacket ever doubted the wisdom of their removal in geographical and political distance they had put between themselves and the Americans, his misgivings were probably diminished by an event that occurred the following November. Remember Cornstalk? We're about to talk about Cornstalk, and I'll just talk off the top of my head what I know about Cornstalk, while also kind of telling you a little bit about other characters in the 1700s. You had Simon Girty. Simon Girty was a frontiersman, soldier, interpreter from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. He served as a liaison between the British and the Native Americans during the American Revolution. He's portrayed as a villain. Essentially, he was an American and then he switched sides. And I don't know if you could say he's British. I want to think that he's just Native American. He's basically a pale face with a red heart. Simon Girty. Simon Girty was born November 14th, 1741, and he's going to die February 18th, 1818. 77 years young. 77 years young. Simon Girty was able to essentially fight against America his entire life and lived to be an old man. Died in Canada somewhere. Now Simon Girty and Simon Kitten were friends. And Simon Girty and Simon Kitten, when they went to go look for Johnny Logan, Talgayita, of Logan's Lament, right? Johnny Logan of Logan's Lament, Talgayita of the Yellow Creek Massacre, right? He goes on a war path after his entire family is killed. Simon Kitten was actually one of the interpreters, one of the scouts, one of the people that was going along with Simon Girty when he went to go get Logan. Logan never, conceded the war totally. He didn't show up for the peace treaty. He didn't sign anything. But essentially, he is like, how come nobody gives a fuck about me, huh? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? And basically, Logan's Lament was taken to be one of the greatest speeches of all time. I'm actually going to jump into Jefferson's writing right now. No. We'll come back to Thomas Jefferson. We'll do Jefferson later. But Thomas Jefferson has the exact speech of Logan's Lament. My whole point with that was that Simon Kitten was on that. Simon Girty goes and finds Logan. He was supposed to bring Logan back, but they just, found him, and the demeanor was friendly. And so essentially they had a nice heart-to-heart conversation when they went back. It was like, I know where he's at. He's there. He's here. He ain't going to fight no more. So it's, it's basically done. It's over. It's over. He's going to bury the hatchet. Don't worry. He's going to bury the hatchet. As far as Blue Jacket and the belligerent Shawnees were concerned, nothing more graphically illustrated the dangers of treating with the big knives. Cornstalk had gone into Fort Randolph at Point Pleasant. His motives were entirely pacific, since he was even then preparing to join the neutral Delawares at Coshocton, but the fort's commandant thought that he could guarantee the good behavior of all the Shawnees by seizing hostages. No matter that, Cornstalk and his party had consistently protected the peace and suffered increasing isolation among their own people. The chief and some of his entourage were detained. Some weeks later, when a militiaman was slain by Indians outside the fort, an inflamed mob stormed into the garrison toward the cabin where the Shawnee hostages were held. As they spilled into the doorway, Cornstalk rose calmly to his feet to face them and died in a volley of musket fire. His son, Alana Wissaca, and 2 other Shawnees were shot, battered, or cut to death. The murders had few immediate consequences. Blue Jacket, Blackfish, and the other militant Shawnees had already broken with Cornstalk and had begun to raid across the Ohio, while the dead chief's own following, amounted to some 20 families, resisted the temptation to join the war party. In February 1778, they settled with the Delawares as their lost leader had intended, yet the murder of Cornstalk was still a monumental blunder on the part of the Americans. It hardened hostile attitudes and cost them the ablest ally they had among the Shawnee people. The exact reasons why Blue Jacket split from Hardman, Cornstalk, and Ryneck and their Mikochis and Pecoes are unknown, but the memory endured for many years. Alexander McKee, who became an Indian agent for the British in 1778, chided the Mikochis with it as late as 1795, when the Mikochis then reproached Alexander McKee for the attentions paid Blue Jacket by the British. Alexander McKee reminded them of how the Shawnee war chief, Blue Jacket, had been forward in promoting the king's interest in the late war. So Blue Jacket was dedicated to fighting for King George and therefore merited respect as a soldier. So the Mikochis, he added, I'm sure the Mikochis cannot have forgot the periods wherein Blue Jacket has distinguished himself, though some of them might probably have been prior to their joining the king, their father, in 1781, for I believe the Mikochis, the Maguichis, were the last of the Shawnee who joined him. Blue Jacket may simply have found the settlement of Kentucky too much to stomach, but probably he was no less influenced by his connections with white traders who were in the British service. Chief among these were Blue Jacket's father-in-law, Jacques Dupont Babé. In June 1777, Henry Hamilton made him a captain at Detroit and appointed him interpreter to the Shawnees and Delawares. It was clearly intended that Babé would encourage those tribes to join the British. Jacques Dupont Babé, and inconceivable that he did not call on Blue Jacket to that end. Babé continued to prosper. He owned land on both sides of the Detroit River, and 2 years before his death in 1789 would become lieutenant colonel of the Detroit militia. Through him, Blue Jacket undoubtedly met other important traders, including Charles Riaume, another member of Hamilton's Indian service who was related to Babé by marriage. Well, what was the point of all that? Well, a couple things. He established a town. We're going to hear about towns getting destroyed later on. I mean, I think Chillicothe still exists as a town today, right? Let's check it out. Does Chillicothe still exist as a town today? I mean, people just go ahead and blink their eyes, right? Oh, who cares? Chillicothe, Ohio. Oh, yeah. George Rogers Clark razed it to the ground, burned their crops, took the animals, burned down the houses, and anybody that was left over, he either killed or kidnapped. Took him as a prisoner of war. Chillicothe now, it's a city seat of Ross County in Ohio. And it's got a population of 22,000. So 22,000 people live in Chillicothe. If However, somebody just went in and wiped out Chillicothe. George Washington was known as Connaught because that's known as the Town Destroyer. That was his father's nickname too. The legacy of Town Destroyer kept going. Destroyed the whole fucking town. People want to act like Scorched Earth didn't come around until late in the game, World War II or something. Scorched Earth has been around since George Washington. Scorched Earth has been around since the Massacre of Mystic. So here we're establishing towns. So this is a good day. A good day. Blue Jacket established a town in 1777 on Mad River in Logan County. I'm not for sure how far Chillicothe. It's kind of, Ohio is kind of like a heart. Chillicothe is kind of like right in the south center. Not where Cincinnati is, but kind of an hour north of Cincinnati. So there you go. Page 52 to